RMC. Coming on the scene less than 10 years ago, RMC has propelled itself all the way to the #1 manufacturer in the coaster industry in just a few years. RMC is a new company and their future is very important. Today, I'm going to explain exactly why the future of RMC depends on Jersey Devil. RMC is only opening 2 coasters in 2021. They've been opening several almost every year since they emerged as a coaster manufacturer back in 2011. The question is, where will they go from here? Will they continue to get business opening coasters year after year around the world? Or will they dwindle away like some other defunct manufacturers? The answer to this question is very simple. If RMC's coaster models continue to prove successful, parks will continue to purchase them, leading RMC to develop more models and thereby selling more coasters. This is called a positive feedback loop. A positive feedback loop is where something positive causes another positive thing to happen, which then causes the original positive thing to happen again in an endless circle. If their models continue to be successful, they will continuously be able to have the resources to conduct proper research into new models, leading those to selling more. However, if their coaster models prove unsuccessful and they don't sell as many as they would like, they won't have enough resources to conduct research into newer models, and therefore will lead to newer models never being released or being released when they aren't ready. If that happens, those models can fail, leading them in a negative feedback loop where they have no money to spend on research and no coasters to sell to get money. In order to be successful, a company must remain in a positive feedback loop. This is not only true for RMC, but for all the other coaster manufacturers in the industry. RMC had been converting old wooden coasters into hybrids, but there's a limit to how many woodies you can convert before there are none left to convert. RMC realized that it wasn't sustainable for them to only convert woodies into hybrids or build ground-up woodies, so they launched a new model, the Raptor. The Raptor is a single rail coaster with a solid piece of track. It's easier and faster to construct and uses less steel than your average coaster, leading it to cost less too. The Raptor, however, only allows for one rider in each row, causing the coasters not to be the greatest in terms of capacity. RMC realized the issue with capacity and started development on the T-Rex model, which will hold 2 riders in each row and have the potential to be built taller and bigger. This all seems like RMC is expanding in their coaster portfolio, which is a good sign. However, the T-Rex model has since been shelved, which means RMC either doesn't have enough resources to continue development or they feel it won't be successful. To understand exactly what's going on, we need to go back to the Raptors. The first ones opened in 2018 at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and California's Great America in 2018. One was purchased by the Six Flags chain and the other by the Cedar Fair chain. RMC had stated that the goal with the Raptor was to have it cloned as many times as possible in small parks, and the T-Rex would be for custom coasters that would go to larger parks. But that didn't exactly go as planned. Six Flags decided to order a custom Raptor for Great Adventure, Jersey Devil, and is rumored to have already bought another custom Raptor for Magic Mountain. These coasters are bigger than the originals and have an extra long train, allowing for a little more capacity. RMC must have shelved the T-Rex because they decided to focus more on the Raptor. If large chains like Six Flags are buying Raptors for their larger parks, then who would buy the T-Rex? At this point, who knows if the T-Rex will ever be built? But that's a topic for another video. The Coaster Josh made a video sharing his thoughts on the T-Rex, and he has some good ideas, so you should definitely check out his channel after finishing this video. Only one more clone Raptor was ordered so far, which is for a water park in South Dakota. I've heard many people say the future of RMC depends on Iron Gwazi. They say that because if Iron Gwazi turns out to be as good as it looks, it would give the company a chance at getting a lot more business from SeaWorld, and probably a lot more business building ground-up hybrids in the future. While that's probably true, I think the future of RMC depends more importantly on Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil is a huge experiment. A larger scale Raptor could take away from the whippiness on these smaller Raptors, or it could make it much better. We also have no idea how the longer trains will affect the ride experience. If Jersey Devil proves to be a huge success, becoming one of or possibly even the world's best roller coaster, I can almost guarantee Six Flags will purchase a bunch more Raptors, especially with their low price tag. If Jersey Devil succeeds, I can see other chains purchasing larger scale Raptors too, and possibly even Cedar Fair getting some T-Rexes. If Jersey Devil does that well, it can turn the Raptor model into a staple attraction for an amusement park, the way the B&M Hyper and Invert are. That would lead RMC to massive success and would give them enough resources to continue developing awesome coaster models. The success of Jersey Devil would likely lead to RMC developing a launched Raptor as an answer to Intamin's Hot Racer, and would likely lead to RMC being the dominant Raptor manufacturer in the US. It would also cause great competition between Intamin and RMC. Competition is always good as it forces both sides to continue to do better. If the Raptor becomes this successful, it will even create a huge competition with B&M, as RMC would be able to make cheaper and better coasters. Basically, if Jersey Devil succeeds, it almost guarantees the success of RMC for at least the better part of the next decade. But if Jersey Devil ends up being worse than we expected, and ends up being just your average coaster, there will be no reason for other parks to buy the Raptor, unless they get the original clone, and that wouldn't cater to larger parks. That would also cause larger parks to be afraid to work with RMC for the first time, as their coaster may not do as well as the parks expected. The future of RMC is bright and very important to the coaster industry. What I think we all want and what's best for RMC is if the Raptor becomes as successful as the B&M Invert and becomes a staple attraction at an amusement park. That will mean Raptors will be built everywhere, and would also allow for a great relationship between RMC and the major park chains. Iron Gwazi's success is important for RMC's future too, but it's not as crucial as Jersey Devil is. Hopefully Jersey Devil and Iron Gwazi open in 2021 as the world's two best coasters. Hopefully that leads to SeaWorld getting a bunch more hybrids and some Raptors, and Six Flags getting a bunch of launch Raptors. Maybe even some independent parks like Hershey Park will then decide to work with RMC. Overall, it looks like Jersey Devil will be a massive success, and I think it will become one of the 10 best coasters in the world. I think it will be the best coaster in Great Adventure, and I think it will lead RMC to a very bright future over the next bunch of years. If that does happen, I can't wait to see what RMC builds next. What do you think of Jersey Devil and its importance to the future of RMC? Let me know in the comments.